This is the wrap-up for the live market open for Tuesday, February 16th. We still have a better mood in markets. Draghi joined in with his significant contribution. He dragged the euro down. He pledged to act. He said, we never give up, we never abandon, continue fighting on. He also had a lot of criticism towards governments. He said basically that the ECB is the only game in town. In other words, his words were that it's the only institution that has a stimulative program, and he called for governments with more fiscal space to do more. Okay, he tried to be diplomatic, but he had his word. Okay, oil prices continue advancing with the better mood in markets and the potential Russian-Saudi meeting today in Doha, Qatar. US markets are coming back after bank holiday yesterday, so we could have liquidity higher. What else did we have yesterday? Worth mentioning, Chinese new loans jumped a lot. It was supposed to be a second, third tier figure, but it was so good. I mean, such a big jump that it helped the Australian dollar. In New Zealand, we had 3 negative events. We had weak retail sales figures, the lowest inflation expectations since 1994, and the Prime Minister, the head of state in New Zealand, talking down the Kiwi, he had expected the Kiwi to be weaker, given the fall in milk prices. Okay, and the RBA meeting minutes were neutral. Okay, so before we move to the events of the day, let's look at charts. Euro dollar is a bit higher within the range, but in general, it's 200 pips below the highs. 110.70 is support, 112.50 is weak resistance, followed by 113.75. Pound dollar awaiting inflation data, moving to the upside. So we're seeing a bit of USD weakness, but it's more here the strength of the pound. Perhaps markets are front-running a better than expected figure in UK CPI. Remember, with UK CPI, first foremost headline inflation year over year, second core inflation, third retail price index. Okay, these are the events to watch. 145.80 is resistance, followed by 146.50, support 143.65. Dollar yen, well, we're seeing some sell-off of the US dollar, minor sell-off, currently holding above 114, struggling with 115. 115.25 is resistance, 114.25 I would say is support. All in all, better mood, better dollar yen, weaker yen. Dollar CAD continues its downfall, falls even more on these hopes about oil. Oil prices are rising in general, so this is good for the Canadian dollar. Some support here at 137.20. It broke below support at 137.87, which now turns into resistance. Further support 136.20. Aussie dollar moving high, but doesn't look so strong. 71.40, some kind of support, strong resistance, 72.20. And the Kiwi dollar managed, well, it did suffer from these three events, but it did find support here at 65.80, resistance 67 and 67.40. Okay, events for today, as I mentioned, UK inflation data, CPI, core CPI, and RPI. If the CPI comes out as expected, then core CPI will take center stage. At 10 GMT, the German zoo economic sentiment expectations are that it'll fall to zero. Balance between optimism and pessimism. If it goes negative, it could have a significant impact. US Empire State Index expectations are low. Milk auction in New Zealand in the afternoon and a speech by Rosengren are the next events. The focus is on the next hour and a half or so with the inflation data in the UK and the German zoo economic sentiment. Okay, and then we'll have a focus in the US more tomorrow with a few figures in the afternoon, and then the FOMC meeting minutes. Okay, before we head off,